Welcome to Module 8. This is our last module for Global Perspectives in Sustainability, and this is our last mini lecture. You're all familiar by now with the 3 perspectives of sustainability. You've put in a lot of work over understanding what's prioritized when we look at sustainability through the people perspective or the profit or the planet perspectives, which are social sustainability, economic sustainability, and environmental sustainability. And we know how we are connected to all those systems, sometimes in ways that we can see, but often in ways that are not visible to us because they might be in a different part of the globe or just take place on a different scale than what we interact with in our own lives. So this week we're going to zoom in to local focus and talk more specifically about what we can do in our own communities and families and homes and workplaces to affect global sustainability by taking steps close to home. So promoting sustainability at the local level is the most direct way to make a difference, right? So we can build on initiatives that already exist in our neighborhoods or communities. Like some local governments offer incentives for using solar, household solar, or upgrading to efficient appliances. We can do things like advocate for community gardens, transforming maybe vacant lots, or creating programs where people who don't have space for a garden can go and do some gardening. And if your community has a good commuter system, you can use public transportation instead of driving your own car to help reduce carbon emissions and pollution. Some local systems that I like to participate in are local craft markets and farmers markets and composting. These are programs that can help reduce waste, shorten supply chains, and improve food security. And if we think about not just the side where we consume resources, but what we do with them when we're finished, we can be thoughtful about the way we dispose of or repair or reuse materials to try to keep them out of landfills and the main waste streams. So here are 6 key points to look for while you're doing this week's reading and watching. The first one in the yellow box is that local action matters. So promoting sustainability locally creates tangible benefits for your own community. Next, in the top middle blue box, engage others. So involving friends, family, co-workers can amplify your impact and foster lasting change. In the top right, community is key. So we need to ensure that our sustainability efforts are accessible to everyone, especially underserved groups. We talked about this in the module that focused on fairness and how equity and sustainability really have to be together, that you can't really have one without the other, right? So we need to do activities that include as many people as possible. In the bottom left, green, practical steps, some things that you can do to get started locally. You probably are already aware of some of these. Support local businesses, reduce your own household waste, advocate for things like renewable energy, whatever makes the most sense in your community, because it's not necessarily the same everywhere. Some places that I've lived have really tight water restrictions because of drought or a lack of fresh water. Other places don't have to worry so much about the water supply, but might have other resources that are more tightly regulated or monitored for sustainability. So whatever makes sense in your own community, start with that. In the bottom middle orange box, be an influencer. And I don't mean go start selling fast fashion on Instagram, but more in the old-fashioned sense of be a good influence on the people around you. So your actions can inspire others and create a ripple effect of positive changes by your own behavior. And then finally, in the bottom right, celebrate growth. If you've made some changes over the course of this term or learned something new that you can put into practice at work, or you have an idea that can help your community, like from Module 6, the Pitch It assignment. You had so many amazing ideas in Module 6. I was honestly really inspired. So reflect on what you've learned and go out and use your new knowledge to create some meaningful change. So since this is Module 8, you don't have a paper due this week. The only thing you need to work on is the discussion. So as always, turn in your initial post by midnight on Thursday. The topic is sustainability in the future. So read the instructions on that so you choose something that stood out to you from this week's resources and then answer the questions with that example in mind. And then do at least 2 peer responses by Sunday at midnight. That gives me time to catch up on all of the grading from the term if you have anything late that you needed to turn in, so that I can get all of those grades in on time. And that brings us to our final one big thing. Your actions create change in ways you may not know. So if you think about all the ways that we saw how we were connected to each other and people on the other side of the planet, and resources that might be buried in, soil that we'll never walk on, that kind of thing. A few of you wrote about tracing the story of stuff to your phone or a laptop or even something like a shoe or toothpaste. And it was really eye-opening to figure out how many different processes and people and resources go into each one of those things that are so maybe taken for granted or just a part of our everyday lives. So it's really, really kind of cool to think, gosh, this phone in my pocket all the time had to go through many steps and many people's ideas and handiwork to get into my pocket. And now it's with me all the time. That is a tangible connection that I have to everything that went into creating it and producing it and distributing it to me. So take the tools that you have and the knowledge that you've gained, promote real, meaningful change, share what you know with others, and this sounds corny, but really you are all out there changing the world for the better. So thank you for all of your hard work. Thanks for teaching and learning with me this term. If you have any questions about how to wrap up this final week, get in touch, and best wishes for everything in your future. Thank you. Bye-bye.